make a bottle of formula if you are going out and about for the day. My name's Ruth, I'm a health visitor in England. Let's get into it. First things first, don't shoot the messenger. This is the NHS guidelines, and this is the guidelines to help prevent illness, to help prevent bacteria building up in formula. Let's get into it. Now, this is the first ideal way to take formula out and about with you. You're going to need three things. One, a clean, sterilised pot, which is holding your correct amount of formula in it. Two, a vacuum flask. Now, I haven't got one to show you, which I thought I did have. This is basically one of those insulated flasks where you can add boiling water to it and it keeps it at its temperature for a good amount of time. And three, a bottle for your formula with the cap and the ring and all of it still in place. Now, the vacuum flask doesn't have to be sterilised because the boiling water will kill anything in there. Obviously, it does need to be clean, but you can clean this with water and washing up liquid. Now, we want to then use freshly boiled kettle of water. The temperature needs to be at least 70 degrees. And then we want it in that flask immediately, keeping nice and hot. I would do that just before you're about to go out. You can then, as and when, make a bottle of formula like you would at home as if you had the kettle there with you. Now, if this isn't an option, the second best option is ready-made formula, which I appreciate is expensive. If no other option, the recommendation of the NHS is that you make a bottle of formula as you would at home, you cool it down under the tap, with the cap on and everything to prevent any cross-contamination, and then it goes in the fridge, and it must be kept in the fridge long enough for it to be cold when you take it out. Now, when you take it out of the fridge and it's nice and cold now, it can go in a cool bag with ice, and then that bottle of formula needs to be used within 4 hours' time. If you don't have a cool bag with ice, it needs to be used within 2 hours. If you are keeping it in the fridge, say you've come to a friend's house, those bottles of formula need to be used within 24 hours from the moment they were made up until 24 hours later. So if kept in the fridge, use within 24 hours. If out of the fridge with an ice bag and a cool bag, use within 4 hours. And if out of the fridge at room temperature, not in a cool bag with ice, 2 hours. Even if in a cool bag without ice, it's still 2 hours because it's not being kept necessarily cold enough. I know there's going to be people saying, when my babies were young, I made up my bottles of formula and kept them in the fridge. This is called survivor bias. Just because something didn't happen to you doesn't mean it's not going to happen to somebody else. Now, I'm not talking about horrific, terrifying things here, but bacteria then has a chance to grow, which can then lead to stomach bugs. It can lead to your baby food poisoning. It can lead to them becoming unwell because that formula now is not completely clean and sterile anymore. It now has had the opportunity for bacteria to grow. You must make your own decision, of course. Couple of questions about going abroad. Check that the water is safe to drink from. If not, I would suggest ready-made formula. Bottled water is not recommended because of the salt content and sulfate content.